Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, because my goodness, it is a hot one today. Heat index of 103 degrees expected at first pitch of today's Super Regional matchup between the Fighting Tigers of LSU and the Mountaineers of West Virginia. And Gia, you just can't ignore it. It is so hot today, so humid. Talk a little bit about how that's going to affect both teams.
Yeah, you really can't ignore it. Coach said himself that the most hydrated team will be who wins this ball game, and I couldn't agree more. You know, they've dealt with the heat in some past previous games, but the humidity will be something new for them, and I think LSU will be used to it because, you know, Alec Box, their home stadium, but I'm excited to see how it affects West Virginia.
Yeah, Coach Saban said we have to try and mitigate all these circumstances that we can, staying hydrated, staying ready, being ready for an environment like this. Now let's move back a little bit, talking about last week. If you weren't named Kason Evans and you threw out of LSU's bullpen last week, you didn't have a great week. Guys like Zach Cowan, Chase Shores, even Maverick Rizzi looked a little bit shaky. DJ Primo looked a little bit shaky. These guys that Jay Johnson has turned to in these high leverage situations didn't really pan out last week.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Kason Evans, I mean, he had a record-breaking game for him. He had 12 strikeouts in a record of 6 innings, I believe. And
9 strikeouts in a row at one point.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like you said, I mean, besides, you know, your two aces, you've got Anderson and Ianson. I don't really know where he's going to turn after that. Somebody is going to have to step up, and I think Kason Evans is a good, but we need more after that, especially if they want to make a long run in Omaha.
Absolutely, and another big question facing this LSU team is the hitting. Obviously, they had a pretty good weekend last weekend in the regional, but before that, everything was kind of shaky, so there's still some questions. Can this LSU team have productive at-bats late on in the season?
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm most curious to see is the lineup. You know, we saw in Game 7 that Jared Jones bumped down, and we had Ethan Fry at Game 2, and Ethan Fry had a great hitting weekend. And Jared Jones did get out of his slump in Game 7, so I'm curious to see if that continues and if he, you know, has earned his way back up or if he'll stay where he is for a little bit.
Yeah, and on the other side, this West Virginia team isn't like a lot of ball clubs that LSU faces in the SEC. It's a very gritty team. They remind me a lot of the Kentucky team that LSU played in the Super Regional in 2023. A lot of small ball. They're going to draw a walk, get a guy on, bunt him down, try and take advantage of men in scoring position with less than 2 outs. And that's something that LSU has seen before in a Super Regional against Kentucky. And I'm interested to see how the pitching staff and the defense attacks this West Virginia team, because it should be interesting. Let's talk about how important Game 1 is. There's a statistic that I saw watching the games last night. There have been a shade over 200 Super Regionals played since the format was introduced in 1999. 158 of the winners of those Super Regionals won Game 1. Just talk a little bit about how important setting the tone is in that Game 1 is for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a whopping 71% of people that win Game 1 will go on to win the series. So I think, you know, as we like to say, whoever strikes first, you know, is carrying that momentum into Game 2, and I think that will be something that's very important for either the Tigers or the Mountaineers.
Griffin Kern throwing for West Virginia today. It's expected that Cade Anderson will take the bump for the Tigers. However, Jay Johnson, as usual, has yet to release his pitching plan. But Gia, give me your prediction for tonight and for the series overall.
So tonight, I'm taking LSU. I think it's going to be 7-3. As far as the series, I think LSU is going to win it all. I am expecting West Virginia to bounce back in the game tomorrow, but LSU will seal the deal on Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on both of those fronts. I think LSU gets it done tonight by a score of 5-4. I think it's a very close game. West Virginia is going to make it hard on them, but this crowd behind us, 13,000 strong, is going to be pulling for the Tigers, and they're going to push them on to victory tonight. However, I'm going to disagree on how many games this series goes. I think LSU gets it done tomorrow as well. I just think it's so hard to beat this LSU team twice in a weekend. I think they get them tomorrow as well with either Ianson or Anderson throwing for LSU. I think that's how this series goes. But we've got you all geared up for first pitch at 1 p.m. between the Tigers and the Mountaineers. For Gia Picarella, myself, and then Brabham, enjoy the game and follow us on Tiger TV socials for all the updates.